I am Ange of ATRAM. Last year, we opened our mailbox and our social media accounts for your questions to the ATRAM investment team. Today, on our new video series called Ask ATRAM, our fund managers will be taking on your questions and you will be hearing straight from them. We're really happy that we received a lot of questions from you. So for today's video, we have selected your questions and our fund managers will be answering them one by one. Tara, let's get started. We have with us ATRAM's Chief Investment Officer, Mr. Philip Hagedorn, and ATRAM Trust Corporation's President, Mr. Deanno Basas. Hi, Phil and Deanno. Thank you for making time for us today.
Our pleasure. Our pleasure.
Yay. Okay, to get things started, we have a set of questions for you. And maybe, Phil, you can start with the first one?
Sure. Well, the first question comes from Jonathan Fong of Singapore. So he asks, what type of uncertainties are concerning to local and foreign funds around the economy and the current administration? Are these uncertainties priced in? And have these presented any buying opportunities? So we think, as far as uncertainties on the economy are concerned, many of them, it was a big challenge last year. I think the Philippine economy is certainly on the rise. Growth in the Philippine economy has averaged above 6% for 4 or 5 years in a row now, and that's expected to continue. So I think around the economy, the biggest challenge for the economy and the economic managers is to balance out the trade. In other words, we are in a massive infrastructure program in the Philippines, and we have to import a lot of material. Unfortunately, our exports have not kept up with that import pace. So this has created a bit of an imbalance, which the government must address and must not allow to slip much further. As far as the administration is concerned, I think this administration has been very focused on growing the economy. They've been very focused on introducing new tax reform in the country. And I think these are very important for the country to be in a very stable economic footing. These programs continue. It's not yet a completed program, so there are risks to how these different tax plans develop over the next few years. But all in all, I think it presents a very strong buying opportunity for the Philippines for the long term. And I think that's the most important thing, is that you think about investments not in short bursts, but for the long run. And I think the Philippines is in a very good position for that to happen.
Thank you for sharing your insight on that, Phil. Our second question is on retirement. May I give this over to you, Deanno?
Yeah, sure. Our question is from Kay Cabal of Manila. And her question is, hello, just weighing my options. What type of retirement investment account should I have? That's a very good question. And I think it's at the forefront of everyone's mind. How do I save up for my retirement? Well, the type of retirement investment account that you should have it really depends on your own personal situation, on your age, your source of income, your general risk tolerance, and your expectations. There are many ways to save up for the retirement. So you can do it on your own. You can buy funds, invest in funds. You can open nowadays what they call a PERA account, or a private personal equity retirement account, which allows you to save and to invest for the long term. So there's many ways to go about it, but at the heart of it is really your personal situation. There are two things, I think, which will make saving for retirement successful. First is you have to make sure that it's easy for you on a regular basis to be able to set aside a certain amount of your income or salary. And you can do that nowadays by leveraging off of and using many different tools. There are many platforms and many different providers that allow you to do that. we have one ourselves. It's called Seedbox, and you can ask about that from our salespeople. But number one is making it easy to set aside. Secondly is obviously doing it regularly. A retirement plan or a retirement investment account is a long-term thing, and it can only be successful if you do it regularly and you start doing it now. From your profile pic, it looks like you're on the younger side, so you have, I'm just looking at your profile pic, and it seems if you're younger, you generally have more time. When you think about your retirement investment account, you have to think longer term, I guess. So having a bit more of growth assets as opposed to fixed income will work for you in the long run. So those are some of the things that you can consider in looking at your retirement investment account.
Thank you for that, Sir Deanno. That sounds easy enough, very doable. For our next question, this is regarding the Peso Money Market Fund. Can you answer this one as well?
Yeah, sure. The question is from Michael Roy Estrada, and he's from Catbalogan City, Samar. Ano ang ibig sabihin ng money market fund from GCash investing in ATRAM? That's a very interesting question. ATRAM has partnered with GCash. So, nagkaroon kami ng partnership with GCash that allows people to invest in the ATRAM money market fund using the GCash platform. Now, so GCash is a wallet where you can buy stuff, you put your funds in. What we're done there is to also try to make it easy for people to invest. So in your GCash app, you can click a few buttons and basically invest in a money market, in our money market fund, which in the past you needed to go to an office, sign up forms, and do fund transfers and all of that to be able to invest. So the GCash platform is really allowing you as a GCash account holder to invest in a fund which helps you grow your money.
Thank you for that, Deanno. I'm sure our audience has a better understanding of how they can invest on the peso money market through GCash. Now we have a question regarding equities for Phil.
Well, this question is coming from Hemrick Mignon of Romblon Province, and he asks, what industry are you bullish? So we today have basically 4 industries that we think are really worth putting your money in. The first industry is the property sector. And the main reason for this is 2. One is still the big backlog of housing that exists in the country today. So many people, do you still live at home?
No, I rent.
Oh, you don't. See, so more people are going to be like you, renting your own place. And that's what we need more property for. Many young folks still live at home. They want to start moving out. Our average age in the country is very young. It's 24. And so the demand for housing is going to continue to increase as many of you young folks start having families, etc.
And not to mention the traffic.
Yeah, another reason is people want to live closer to where they work as well and not spend so much time in traffic. The demand for housing is still very strong, number one. Number two, it has a lot to do with what's going on with infrastructure and the building up of the countryside. And I think that is very important for the country to grow. As that happens, the main players, the main property developers are going to be the ones that take advantage of this new infrastructure that's coming into play. So on that basis, we think that there's still very good upside for property over the long run. Now, let me just qualify that. This doesn't mean land prices are going to be skyrocketing the way they have in the last few years. It has a lot more to do with sales and the demand side. Property prices have moved up a lot, but we think the upside may be a little bit more limited in the NCR versus the other developing countryside or cities outside of Metro Manila that are growing at a much faster pace than Metro Manila is. So that's where there's significant opportunity. The next sector will be the banking sector. We think the banking sector is providing a lot of funding for everything. I mean, across the board today, individuals can get loans. Mortgages for homes are growing. At the same time, industry is growing, so there's more demand for loans from the large corporate companies. And of course, with the infrastructure programs in place or coming into play, that's going to be another source of loans for the bank. So we think the banks are a good place to invest. Third would be the consumer sector. The Philippines is still a consumer economy. We rely heavily on consumption here. And so we think people will continue to spend, continue to have a good time. Filipinos, we love to enjoy ourselves and eat out and be with our friends and enjoy a good time. So I think that's something that as an investor you can capitalize on. And finally, the industrial companies, the companies that are going to be involved in helping build the country. And I think that's an interesting sector as well.
There are 4 industries to remember, according to Phil. So we have another question regarding the unit investment trust funds. Throwing this over to our trust president, Deanno.
Yep. And this question is from Justin Ray Blanco of Davao del Sur. It's actually a 2-part question. How will money grow? And what will be your advantage against UITFs? Okay, so maybe answer it separately. How will money grow? The best way, I guess, to answer this is to visualize money as a tree, as a plant. When you plant a tree, it starts growing, and you're nice and happy and to have seen it grow. But if you chop it, take it when it's just a little sapling, then obviously it stops growing, right? Money will really grow when you are disciplined and see it through to the in the long run. A basic principle of investing and finance in general is the power of compounding. That means that as you make money, the earnings and the growth of your funds should be allowed to grow on its own. And that's how really I think people, especially those investing for the long run, should look at investing. Being able to do it consistently in the long run, and that's where your money will really work for you. The second question is, what will be your advantage against UITFs? So maybe answer it in 2 different ways. UITFs are unit investment trust funds. They allow investors to invest in different types of investment products pooled with other investors. So they are very useful vehicles for people to invest. What is our advantage against UITFs? Well, we at ATRAM actually have our UITFs. And I guess part of our advantage really is that we have a wide range of products. We have consciously developed products that cater to different risk types, different investment horizons, and different requirements. And why we've done that is to allow people to build portfolios and choose the funds that suit their needs. Typically, if you're looking at the portfolio, you will have a basket of funds where you have diversified exposure. You don't put your eggs in one basket, so you have several funds working for you in different ways. So part of the advantage that we also have is that in addition to having all these fund ranges or these different types of funds, we also have different services where we can give you guidance in terms of how to choose the funds and how to put them together to suit your needs. And we do it at many levels, and even through our platform Seedbox. There's a lot of tools there that will help you in making your portfolio and choosing the right funds that are suitable for your needs.
Thanks, Deanno. Phil, can you share your thoughts on the next question from Mr. Castro of Bulacan?
Mr. Castro Bulacan asks, how stable is the company in terms of financial standing, etc.? Well, ATRAM, I'll answer this on behalf of the ATRAM group. I mean, ATR Asset Management is not a new company. It's been around for many, many years now, effectively part of the old ATR Capital Group. Today, ATRAM Trust Corporation stands on its own with our own trust license that's basically monitored by the BSP. The BSP is our watchdog. The BSP audits us every year, and we comply with all requirements the BSP asks us to comply with. ATRAM today, you may be surprised to hear, we're today the fifth or sixth largest, depending on the month and the asset size, but certainly in the top 10 and among the 5 or 6 top trust groups in the country today. Only ahead of us is Metrobank, BDO as number 1, BPI and Metrobank ahead of us now. So we're very proud of this accomplishment. It's an accomplishment that took 10 years to achieve. But in those 10 years, we've grown stronger. We have a very strong shareholder base, and we see us taking advantage of opportunities and primarily bringing our expertise that really service what we call institutional clients to the retail investor. And I think that's going to be the future for investments in the Philippines.
Maybe if I can add, as part of the requirements of the central bank, we are required to keep a certain amount of capital. So we have capital set aside, mandated by the central bank of a certain size to meet the requirements of the business. And that's something that is necessary for us to operate. Also, I guess from an investor's perspective, we follow best practice, which means that when we invest for you, our funds are actually not with us, but they're kept with a custodian bank. So we manage it, but someone else safeguards and warehouses it for you. So those are some of the things that I guess may not be too apparent because maybe the first time that you've heard of ATRAM. We actually operate through 2 entities. We have a trust corporation, but we also have a mutual fund management company, and that naman is supervised by the SEC. So we have 2 watchdogs, the BSP, the central bank, and the SEC. And as you very well know, they are very strict sometimes in terms of the requirements.
Well, our oldest fund, it's been running since 1996. It's the Philippine Balance Fund. And many of the investors have been small investors for a long, long time there. And continue to see their money grow since they put money in there. They get regular reporting, so you're very transparent in terms of what you own, how much you own. You get to see this regularly, and now with our website and other means, you're able to access this at really a couple of clicks. So, it is our goal to be completely transparent with our clients. It's our goal to deliver professional service, and it doesn't matter whether you have 100 million pesos or 5,000 pesos.
Thank you for that, Deanno and Phil. So, from that, we've learned that ATRAM is a very stable and a regulated company which can be your partner in growing your money over the years. Okay, our next question falls on your table, Phil. So giving this one to you as well.
Sure, it's, I guess, about investing. It comes from Gilbert Fernandez from Binangonan, Rizal. Gilbert asks, paano po kikita ang 1,000? Kailangan mag-invest para makita yung pera mo. Para kumita yung pera mo. I mean, it's not magic. I think if you put 1,000 pesos under your pillow, 10 years later, yung 1,000 na yan, 1,000 pa rin.
Baka hindi na. Inflation.
May inflation pa nga eh. Last year, 6.8%. Yung second option is sa bank account. Pero baka may mga minimums dyan, mahirap mag-open ng bank account pag may 1,000 ka lang, di ba? So, yung mutual fund naman, mababang mga limit. Sinabi si President Deanno kanina, yung GCash namin, 50 pesos lang yung minimum dyan. Diba? So, sa money market fund, yung 1,000 na yan, kayang-kaya. Sa mga ibang fund natin, may equity, may balance fund, yung minimums din, 1,000. Yung mas importante, yung disiplina. May saying before, no? Pag uunlad ang bayan, disiplinang kailangan. Uunlad yung 1,000 mo, disiplinang kailangan.
Tagal na yun, Phil.
Mag-invest ka ng regular. That's the only way. There's no secret formula to getting rich. It's discipline, it's having the cash, it's being able to do the investment, finding a good vehicle to invest in. And with that, you'll learn and you'll do it more. No? And I think the most important thing is to try. Don't be afraid. Go out there and try it, and you'll see that it's not difficult, and you'll see that you can actually make money and hopefully gain confidence in doing it regularly.
Thanks, Phil. Madali lang pala mag-invest. Kayang-kaya, disiplina lang kailangan. I think we only have room for one more question. So this question is for you, Deanno.
Okay, and this question is from Bri of Pasig. What is the outlook for 2019? Do we expect the market to recover, and how much upside do we see? Maybe I'll answer it very generally. I'll pass on a little bit of the equity side to Phil, and I'll answer more on the fixed income. The outlook, I think, for 2019 is we're quite positive this year. Last year, 2018, was very challenging. We've had a lot of ups and a lot of downs. There was some recovery at the end of last year, and the major concerns last year was inflation, interest rates moving up. There were concerns on the stock market being expensive. When we entered 2019, we've seen a lot of these factors moderate. The concerns on all of these started to dissipate. Inflation has started to move down. Interest rates are now at a high level, and it doesn't look like it's going much higher from where we are now. And given how the market has performed over the past year, they're a lot cheaper. So our outlook generally is, from both an equity and fixed income perspective, we're quite positive. We do think that on the equity side, and I'll let Phil expound, there is scope for good market performance this year. On the fixed income side, yields are much higher than where they were a year or two ago. And it was very difficult for investors at the start, but the advantage of having yields move up is that they're higher now. So if you're coming in now, if you're investing money, you're actually earning a lot more. In the past few years, you'll be hard pressed to place money in fixed income at 2 or 3%. Nowadays, you can buy a government T-bill and earn 5 or 6%. Quite a decent yield. So our outlook is on the fixed income side, good yields, actually. You should start investing fixed income. If all your money is in cash, it shouldn't be. You should actually be investing it in fixed income securities. And we do think that there is actually scope for yields to start moving down this year, especially given that inflation is moderating. So the central bank will probably not hike rates anymore. They probably will just stay here. Some are actually calling for maybe lower rates. What that means then as well is that if yields move down, there's also opportunities to make money in fixed income from the capital gains on bond prices moving up. So the fixed income world, if you're in cash, you should not be. And if you are in fixed income, then I think going into fixed income products where yields are higher and where there's opportunities is something to look at. Now, on the equity side, I'll pass it on to Phil.
On the equity side, I mean, put it this way. Less than a year ago, the stock market was above 9,000 on the index. We think it's going to go back there. The question is when, obviously. And I think maybe in the next 2 years, we're going to see a new all-time high for the stock market. So 2 points to raise. If you bought last year and you're not making money today, don't sell it yet. Hold on to it. if you can invest some more, invest some more. I think there's a very good chance we're going to see an all-time high in the market in the next 18 to 24 months. And that is, the reason for that is the companies continue to grow, their earnings continue to grow, and the Philippines continues to grow at a good pace. So the basic fundamental requirements for any market to move up are there. We had a rocky year last year because of some factors like inflation. We don't expect that to be a factor this year so much. So we think the road is paved for us to make our way back towards 9,000 and hopefully higher in the next few years. So we are quite optimistic, but like I said, this is not a sure ball. This is not something that will happen overnight. It takes time, and intermittently markets also go up and down. There's no straight path up. And so that's why you have to invest regularly. That's why you have to keep aware of what's going on with the markets to make you more comfortable and make you feel that when you invest, you're confident with that investment. No?
Thank you so much for that, Deanno and Phil, for answering that question. So there's a lot to look forward to this year in both the fixed income and the equity space. So that's all the questions that we have for this video. Thank you for joining us for the first episode of our new video series, Ask ATRAM. And for those of you who still have questions, please continue to send them in. Now is our opportunity to be heard. You can type in your questions in the comment space below. And from there, we will be selecting the new set of questions for our next Ask ATRAM video. Send in your questions and get a chance to win an exclusive gift from ATRAM. If you found this video helpful and informative, please don't forget to like and share with your friends. And remember, if you have more questions, remember to ask ATRAM. Thank you, Deanno. Thank you, Phil.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.